Hey guys, Casey Judge here, Baseball Rebellion, and this week's hitting breakdown, I'm going to do hitter for the Miami Marlins, Marcell Ozuna. I really wanted to go over Ozuna. I've wanted to break him down for a while because I think he moves very efficiently, just like McCutchen. I think they have similar patterns. They're guys who don't use these gigantic, barrel tips and leg kicks. They just move efficiently through more reserved movements, as I call it. This is an opposite field home run he hit last year against the Brewers. So we'll take a look. Um, Ozuna uses what I like to call a sway back load, a sway back to a toe tap. So he sways back, gets his front toe down, and then he moves and lengthens out his back leg through that toe tap. I just think this is a very good demonstration of how to move efficiently without, like I said, taking gigantic leg kicks and gigantic barrel tips, because just because you have a gigantic barrel tip or leg kick doesn't assure you that you're moving with high level movement patterns. And I think Ozuna demonstrates that great. He just kind of reserved in his movements, just sways into that back hip, gets his front toe down, lengthens out his back leg. As he's doing this, I want to point out, this is very important, he pulls his rear elbow against his spine the whole time. So he's rowing, and I think it's very something I've been talking about with a lot of hitters in live lessons lately, is rowing continuously and pulling that rear elbow against the spine as you're loading the whole time. So the load is not a destination and it doesn't stop. You keep loading as you move forward. Like, this is very important that you create this stretch, this elbow pulling back towards the crowd. This happens, as you can see, the whole time throughout his swing. Like, he's rowing up until he's going. I think that's important, and it's very often overlooked. If you look up the example of load in the swing, online, you'll probably get 20 different definitions. But I think the main idea behind the load is it's continuous and it keeps going, and it's very important to continue to row as you move forward, because that's what's going to create the stretch from your lower body and your upper body, which he does a very good job. So he creates that stretch by rowing as he's moving forward, and that takes him into his turn really good. I mean, this is a tough pitch to hit out. This is an outside pitch, and he hits it really close to his body, and he turns his barrel tight in space and fast. And he does just an awesome job of pulling that rear elbow back towards the crowd. And so what I mean by that is he's pulling this way the whole time. That's happening from right here. He's pulling. He's, what I like to say, he's loading up until he unloads. And that's the most important part of the load that I think is it's not the destination, doesn't stop, and it's just continuous throughout the swing. We'll take a look at his lower half right now. Does a great job of lengthening out his back leg, as you can see. Take it into this position. He does a good job of opening his stomach, like I said, and that's created by that stretch between his lower body and his upper body, and that's kind of the result of his load. He's able to move forward because he continues to row that back elbow and that back shoulder as he moves forward. It's a very high level move. And one of the main reasons I really like his swing is he does a great job of pulling against his spine the whole time as he moves forward. Some things he could do better. He could open his front foot up a little bit more, because as we see, when he goes into his turn, it gets open. So if he could land, ideally it would be less friction and allow for his hips to open a little bit easier. If he could land with his front foot a little bit more towards second base, that would be ideal. And from an optimal standpoint, like I said, it would take a little bit of stress off his front knee and his front hip. Guys who land really close, like Utley and Miguel Cabrera, awesome hitters. Very, very good movements, but they've missed time due to front knee and front hip injuries, and that's just a little cosmetic issue. I can say can be very easily fixed if you just understand that landing with your front foot open a little bit more is going to allow your hips to open freer, as opposed to landing very closed and then rolling onto the outside of your ankle. Puts a lot of stress on the lateral ligaments of your ankle. So, one thing Marcell Ozuna could do a little bit better is land a little bit more open, because as you see, his front foot does get open. It just gets open a little late and just a little unnecessary stress on that front leg. Take a look at his upper body. So he does a very good job of letting that front shoulder go up. He turns a very tight front shoulder. And we'll take a look at his upper body, his back elbow, and his front elbow. So he does a really good job of turning the box. It's a term used by a lot of hitting instructors. He's got some bend in his arms, not extended at contact. He extends through contact, but at contact he's very bent. And this is an outside pitch. It's just an awesome job of accelerating the barrel deep and turning it into the path of the pitch very early. And at contact, like I said, he's in a very bent arm position. Go through contact, and then we'll play the video full speed. Just a awesome job of turning. He doesn't finish his turn, and ideally you want to finish your turn, but with that being said, it's an outside pitch, so the numbers aren't going to quite make their way to home plate because you use less turn and you release the barrel sooner in your turn on an outside pitch, as opposed to a pitch that's inside that you pull. So not going to crush him for that. Take his finish, and I want to look at this swing in full speed. Just continuous, like I said, he flows through it, and at no point is anything still or stagnant. He sways into that back hip, he's pulling against his spine, and then he moves forward, and that allows him to turn the stretch he creates in his load. Loading up until you're unloading is a very important concept in hitting, and it's more of just a thought. A lot of people think, like I said earlier, the load is somewhat separate from the turn, but pretty much how you prepare your body to turn in the load is going to dramatically affect what your unload is like. And his turn is very violent. It's very late because he prepares his body to turn very well. So that's it for my breakdown on Marcell Ozuna. I hope you guys enjoyed watching.